In the beginning, we see Vietnam, and a soldier protecting young Roberta from other soldiers and engaging in a gunfight. 28 years later in Venezuela, some kind of festival is going on when Morales arrives at Hotel Quebec and he is being watched by some men. They are ordered by their boss to get away. And then an explosion occurs that is seen by a man watching through a telescope. This was a planned attack to assassinate Morales. Back in the hotel, people are running and there is an emergency. Roberta is also there standing in the middle of a road watching surprised as these events unfold. Next, a funeral is shown. As people leave, Roberta is the left standing on the grave of her master, comforting his child. Roberta is seen taking a bath and thinking back to how she came to work as a maid for the Lovelace family and how Diego took her in. After Roberta's employer, Diego Lovelace, dies in an explosion set by U.S. agents at an event of an emerging left-wing party in Venezuela, she disappears to hunt down and kill the perpetrators. Rock is seen walking in Ranipur when a boy steals his purse. Revi tails him to his master, who recognizes she is with the Lagoon Company, and she takes the purse back from him. Rock goes to a bar where a game of Russian roulette is going on and one of the competitors dies. He meets the host, who tells him to wait till tomorrow for something. While heading away, Revi returns his purse and there is a photo of Roberta in it which he claims is for good luck. Sometime later, Garcia Lovelace is accompanied to Ranipur by his maid and bodyguard Fabiola Iglesias. Following a shootout with enemies Roberta made during her last visit to the city, Fabiola takes the Lagoon Company to see her young employer, whom she finds in the presence of Chang. Garcia and Fabiola recount to their guests what has transpired and make a job offer to look for Roberta, which Dutch declines in the name of the Lagoon Company, unwilling to get drawn into a conflict with the United States. The offer, however, is directed specifically at Rock, which is made clear by Fabiola. Meanwhile, Roberta stalks the city of Ranipur in search of the one responsible for assassinating her master. Unfortunately, it turns out to be the U.S. Special Forces, whose intentions were to assassinate a general, who had to sacrifice Diego Lovelace to complete their mission. She kills some active U.S. agents and starts looking for equipment necessary to wage war. In the meeting with the Lagoon Company, Garcia asks for Rock. They discuss that Roberta is messing with the wrong enemy, and Garcia says that if they don't want to help, he himself will look for Roberta. Chang says that he also wants these kids to safely return to Venezuela while they deal with the issue, as Roberta going toe-to-toe with the U.S. is not going to be good for them or the city. And he says that even if they wouldn't have asked for Rock, was still the right choice for the mission, and say that these kids need his help. Rock asks for some time to think about it, and Chang tell Garcia that if Rock does not agree, then they will have to leave the city. Encouraged by Chang, Rock agrees to help locate Roberta. While driving back, Dutch, however, strongly urges him to get out of the line of fire should he be unable to find Roberta before her conflict with the United States escalates. Rock is walking home as we hear his soliloquy explaining how Ranipur is the nesting ground for four major forces, namely Hong Kong Triad, Hotel Moscow, Costa Nostra, Colombian Cartel, and countless other factors. In World War II, Japanese used Ranipur as a port, and after the war, it was used to smuggle drugs and contraband. After working through the night, investigating, and pondering, he wakes up the next morning. The full shot of the room reveals that he has already written all over the wall, and a few maps are also hanging, and he receives a call. Fabiola is about to go out when Rock, accompanied by Benny, comes there. They take Garcia and Fabiola along for a round of fruitless investigations. Eventually, Benny convinces them to stay at Chang's yacht house, where their unusual appearance will not get in the way. Roberta's quest for vengeance has put many of Ranipur's residents, including Hotel Moscow, the Triad, and the Colombian Cartel, on high alert, as it could mean the end for all of them if their new enemy is the United States. Meanwhile, Ranipur's crime lords meet to discuss the situation, and Roberta accumulates the things she needs with the help of a man named Richie Leroy. Still unable to solve the puzzle, Rock enlists Revi's help, who proves more successful than him at getting the townsfolk to talk, and learns from a crazy person about Roberta's involvement with Richie. Revi mines Richie for information about Roberta's whereabouts at gunpoint, then heads toward her in a car, accompanied by Rock, Garcia, and Fabiola. On the way, she explains that there is an underground bunker made by the Japanese army, and they are going there. Furthermore, that FARC, the U.S. Army, and all the others Roberta made arrangements with will be present there. On the way, they make a stop and Revi invites Shenhua to help and tells her she has a job for her. On the other hand, the U.S. move their forces while others do the same. And eventually, all of them start to fight one another. Finding upon their arrival that open conflict has already ensued between Roberta, units of the U.S. Army, and others, Revi had hired reinforcements in the form of Shenhua, Sawyer, and Lawton. Garcia says that he is also going inside. Rock gives Garcia an envelope as Garcia tries to open. Rock stops him and tells him that should open it when he no longer knows what to do. Rock stays behind, while the others enter the combat zone. Roberta engages the enemy and starts to make quick work of them all. Revi and the group come across US soldiers and kill them. One of them is alive. Revi asks Fabiola to investigate him, and in response, they promise to take him to the hospital in return for information. He complies and gives them the information, but Revi shoots and kills him. Fabiola gets angry and points her weapon at Revi, causing a bit of tension. Garcia breaks them off, and they continue. Garcia is separated from the group, finds Roberta's empty bottle of stimulants, and follows her. He witnesses her killing several FARC soldiers with bare hands and being beaten and pinned down at gunpoint by another. Instead of following his orders to kill her, the soldier attempts to recruit Roberta back into the FARC. She gives herself swayed by his words and feigns sexual arousal by the situation. The soldier is fooled, and she wounds him with a hidden weapon, professes her devotion to Garcia, and goes down on him with her fists. Garcia, disturbed by the scene, steps into view, asking her to stop. At first, Roberta begins to lose her sanity and has trouble identifying her friend and foe. She is shocked by her young master's presence, but quickly decides that he must be another hallucination and aims a gun at him to prove it. Roberta wants to prove that it is a hallucination and is almost about to harm Garcia in the process. US soldiers come there and start to shoot at her and save Garcia in the process. US soldiers then retreat to regroup and take Garcia with them. After Garcia is rescued by a group of American soldiers, Roberta comes across Revi and her group. She engages and easily defeats Shenhua, Sawyer, and Lawton with non-lethal force. Fabiola runs to confront her and tells her that she is there to get her back, but Roberta starts to talk to her like a crazy person. Confronting her, Fabiola is forced to acknowledge her chief's insanity. Roberta ignores her and walks away. Regaining consciousness in the presence of the Americans, Garcia is reached by their major, who tells him that he will take him to safety. Rock outside wonders what will Garcia do and wait for someone's call. Garcia pulls a gun on the commander of the US Army, Major Shane. Another soldier subdues him and takes the gun. Major asks why Garcia did this. Garcia blames them for ruining his life by killing his father in the bomb explosion. Major Shane, after learning about Garcia's circumstances, agrees that he has a right to vengeance and offers him the loaded gun and asks him to make a decision. Garcia has a flashback of his father as he holds the gun. Before he can make a decision, Roberta attacks, interrupting the exchange, but is repelled with assistance from Hotel Moscow. Meanwhile, Rock has a meeting with Ed and calls Dutch to arrange for the Lagoon Company to take the Americans out of town. Dutch hangs up on him, but when Chang calls for the same reason, he is left with little choice and accepts. Finding their young employer in the hands of the Americans, Revi and Shenhua decide to attack them but are prevented from doing so by Hotel Moscow. Garcia hands the Americans a map from Rock's envelope. Following it, they head for the coast. En route, they are again attacked by Roberta, and, again, Hotel Moscow intervenes in their favor. With Garcia, Fabiola, the Americans, and the Lagoon Company on board, the Black Lagoon sets sail for the River Mekong, while Eda manipulates Roberta into boarding an airplane with her. After conversations between Garcia and Rock, as well as Fabiola and Revi, Garcia decides to follow Rock's plan, and Revi experiences unpleasant flashbacks from her past. The Black Lagoon arrives at its destination in the Golden Triangle, and the Americans set out to complete their mission. In the jungle, they are attacked by Roberta, using her former employer's antique musket to fire flechettes. She kills several, but is severely wounded and loses 2 fingers. Garcia, Fabiola, and Major Shane come face to face with Roberta, and Garcia explains that she cannot redeem past sins by taking revenge. Then fires blanks at both Shane, who pretends to drop dead, and Roberta, who reflexively fires back, wounding Garcia. The confrontation ends with Garcia laying in Roberta's arms and Shane ordering his men to stand down. Meanwhile, Rock explains his motives to Revi and predicts his victory over Chang and future changes for Ronapur. As the wounded are carried onto the Black Lagoon, Fabiola takes her anger out on Rock by raging and firing a blank at him. Several months later, Rock laments that nothing has changed in Ronapur after all, and Roberta, having lost an arm and a leg and living in Garcia's mansion, meets the family of the victim of hers who had haunted her for so long. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.